FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
The constitutional republic, democratic republic of checks and balances, of one law, a rule of law for everyone, no two sets of laws, no person above the law, the possibility of impeachment for a president who violates that. We don't really have that now. The surveillance, the warrantless surveillance forbidden by the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, first violated in secret by the president in his belief that he could do anything, not just for a week or a month after 9/11. If that's all he had done, if he'd kidnapped people that week, if he'd tortured people that week, the issue would not have arisen, I don't think. Emergency, frustration, we don't know what's happening, terrible imminence. But he's been doing all that for 7 years. Kept it as secret as he can, and still as secret as possible, which is very much, from Congress, which has not found to this day what it was they authorized when they authorized the FISA Amendments Act, FAA, just this summer on July 7th, I think it was. When they authorized that, or August 7th, they didn't know what they were authorizing because Congress has not yet found out what the National Security Agency is doing. They haven't been able to find out, most of them signing that. Now, one of the people who signed that was a man who had said he would filibuster any such bill that gave, immunity to the telephone companies for their clear violation of the law over the last 7 years. The importance of that being not to cause them to give a fine or even to stop that because the president of the government can indemnify them for that. But for discovery, to find out at last what Congress has not been able to find out, who is being listened to, for what purposes, how many, what is being done with that information. Civil suits against the telephone companies have been thought of for more than a year by civil libertarians as the only way of finding that out. To give them immunity from their criminal behavior, clearly criminal behavior, over that period, is to close the door to finding out what NSA is doing. Obama is the one who said that he would filibuster that, along with Feingold and Dodd and several others. And he not only voted for closure against a filibuster, but he voted for the immunity in the end. Because apparently, for reasons not clear, by the way, he seemed to feel that as running for president, it would serve his chance to be president better. McCain, by the way, had also said that he would deny immunity. And of course, he also voted for it, as he had voted for closure against, for the president's bill so that it could not be filibustered for torture by the CIA. That was bad for McCain to do that, for him to do that, the one who had been tortured. It was bad for Obama to do that. I'm not saying that that should be, it can't be the deciding thing in deciding in the election. They both did, not on the torture, but both did the surveillance. What it does say is that we cannot count on either of them to cut back these powers of surveillance that have been enlarged by the Congress itself and by the president. What it says to me is that in November, and I think the choice in November is extremely important, and maybe you can take it for granted for me, so I'm not making any secret, I believe it's of extreme importance for a number of reasons that McCain not be our commander-in-chief and that it be Obama. But, however, I do not see at this point Obama as the first president to cut back the powers of the presidency that he has inherited. Moreover, where both of them have, although Obama has hopefully talked a lot more about negotiating with Iran, he has been unwilling to make one statement at all that the option of an attack on Iran, even with nuclear weapons, should be off the table, that it is not an option, that it is not, as is clearly true, that it would be, especially with nuclear weapons, a crime against humanity of the most serious sort and with the greatest implications against us, We can go in the question period as to why perhaps he hasn't said that. It would have to be speculation. I'll close by saying this, unfortunately, unhappily. When we go to the polls in November, it will not be to pick a president abiding by the Constitution in the sense of the Constitution, or a constitutionally limited president. We are being invited by both parties to choose between candidates for a monarchical president, to choose between two possible kings. And it could be worse than that, but that isn't the way it should be. If that's going to change, it will have to be by people other than the party leaderships, other than the candidates. It will have to be by pressure by people in this room that we want a different situation and this. I saw them last night interpolating the Pledge of Allegiance with Star Spangled Banner, as you may have noticed if you were watching the Republican convention last night. Very touching performance. And yet it reminded me that for some time I've been thinking that when I take the Pledge of Allegiance now, it will be to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stood. And that is the republic that I took my oath to and that I am pledged with my life and honor for the rest of my life, and many, many other Americans, and it's up to us to regain that republic.